Okay, in this first session, what we're going to do is go through, set up our menu system to get into the gameplay. We're going to talk about the gameplay field itself, and then go through and talk about the instance names and what's in the library. So getting started, I just have a basic area out here. Notice I just have my main menu, everything's on there. I do have a movie clip down below for play. It has an instance name of play button. Now, since I am using text on this, we cannot just use text as a button, because when we come through and try to click in between the letters, it would not act as a button. So I do have an invisible hotspot movie clip. I've taken its alpha down to 0, and it's just a block out there. If you double click to go inside that movie clip, so that way when I'm back here I can click on that button. So when we click on that, we want to go to our gameplay scene. Make sure that your scenes are labeled correctly. So again, I'm assuming you know how to set those up. And with our actions, the first action that we need is stop, to tell Flash to stop at that frame. Now I'm going to tell my play button to add an event listener. And we need a mouse event off of this, and it's going to be the clicked event, comma. And we're going to go to a function called go to gameplay. So let's write that function. Go to gameplay. And again, we need the event. And this is going to be a mouse event. Void, because we're not going to return anything back from this function. Now, when we're going through and using mouse events, our gameplay is using keyboard events. So sometimes this can cause an error that when you're going from mouse events to keyboard events, if you do not set the focus to the stage, you actually have to click on the stage before you can actually move your character or anything around. To avoid this, we're going to say stage.focus equals stage. That's going to allow us to use the keyboard events once we get in there. And we're just going to say go to and stop on frame 1 of our gameplay scene. Now again, when you're typing out the scene names, make sure that they are spelled exactly the same, capital letters and all. Okay, so if we check our code for any ActionScript errors, there's no errors. Let's go ahead and test this. Let's click our play button. We go to our gameplay scene and stop. Okay, next, let's go into our gameplay scene and see what's out here. When you're opening up a new Flash file, it's always good to check to see what's there. Under our timeline up here, we have lives. So how many lives does the player have? Each one of these has an instance name, life 1, 2, and 3. We have a score field to help keep score. It has an instance name of score field. We have a health meter. This is going to be for the shields, so your player doesn't die if he gets hit once. He can have some shields, some life. This has an instance name of ship health. We will control this and scale it down as the player gets hit. Next, we have our player or ship. It has an instance name of ship. It's a movie clip. If we double click on this to go inside to see what's going on, we also have some things going on in here. First layer is called destroy. Basically, it's going through and playing the destroy animation. It's just a simple 3-frame, frame-by-frame animation of the ship looking like it's exploding. I have some label names. First label is called good. That means my ship's health is good. Our second frame out here shows the shield. It has an instance or a label name of shields. The last one, or the next one, destroy, has the instance name. This is where it gets destroyed. And in our last frame, it has a label name called killed. So I know when my ship has died. Our shields is just a vector image that has some transparency on it. We have our ships and we have some flames. So let me zoom in on these flames. You can see that's a movie clip. No instance name needed. Inside that movie clip, we just have 2 frames. So it plays that animation to look like the ship has animated flames out there. Okay. Now also with this, we need some enemy ships, the bullets, the star field, some rocks or asteroids coming at us. And if we look at our library, we can see all of these are set up out here. But we need to give them a linkage name so we can communicate with those through code. So with my enemy lasers movie clip, I'm going to right click, go into the properties. In the properties, I'm going to export for ActionScript, and I'm just going to remove the _MC. So just call it laser names on the class. Going to click OK. It's going to ask me could not find that. That's fine. We don't need any class files for this. We're creating this as a timeline-based code. We might get into classes later on. I'm just going to say OK. We also need to do our enemies. So let's go to Properties, Export. I'm going to call this Enemies. And with class names, it's always best to use a capital letter at the beginning. So you know that is a class and not just an instance name. Okay, flames we don't need, lives we don't need. My lasers, so I can shoot bullets, that player. Again, gotta remove the underscore and capitalize that first letter as well, so I know it's a class name. And let's see, that's our play button. Power-ups. We need some power-ups so we can actually have some shields. Some rocks or asteroids. And our star field. Again, remove the underscore MC and just call this stars with a capital S. Okay, so I think we're good to go on everything. In our next tutorial, we'll go through and start our game, and we're going to just take it step by step, do one thing at a time, make sure that's working the way we want, and then we'll move on. So we're going to get into moving our ship around the stage. So we'll see you in the next tutorial.